on getting solo lane matchups so heavily that they kind of drafted themselves into a corner.
And it's almost like they prioritize getting high-tier picks rather than necessarily considering for the particular lane when they grabbed those two solo laners in the first round. And in the end, they were both comfortable matchups for the side of IG. So I wonder if they'll be a bit more bold in terms of their blue side bans. I don't think IG wants to change up too much. Everything kind of fell into place for them in game number 1.
Completely agree. Definitely going to see some changes in the picks and bans. That being said, that game was not determined just in picks and bans. No. We saw a lot of improvements in the Ning as well as Bao Lan as far as characters that we were looking at for IG and possible mistakes, possible improvements.
And that's the thing, the jungle support duo that you were focusing on pre-match leveled up for the side of IG. A sign of their performances in quarters and semis, not so much the head-to-head matchups we had in that tail end of group stage.
Well, here we go again. Game number 2 in the 2018 World Championship. We're already seeing changes come in as Fnatic is saying, you know what? Ning's got a Camille reputation for a reason. Let's not play against that one here again. LeBlanc and Aatrox also going to be banned as they were in game number 1. IG taking the Victor and the Akali off the table.
See if the Rakan ban comes in once again from IG to try to dissuade Xayah Rakan, and it does. So IG, no changes on the ban sides. First big status for Fnatic will be interesting to track. Very unlikely to be the Kai'Sa, even though JackeyLove had a very good game on it in game number 1. There's a lot of flex picks available. There is also the Alistar. They will look over Alistar. This time they're going to first pick the Urgot that they looked over to the second round in game number 1.
It's still a flex pick. It could still go either top lane or mid lane. You don't know for sure. And Whippo did manage to grab himself a couple of nice fears beyond death in game number 1. Unfortunately, they were so far behind, it honestly didn't make them fear beyond much more than a brief inconvenience. But we'll see how that may change here in game number 2 as Invictus Gaming look to be going for the Alistar yet again.
If I'm IG, I always take the Alistar to try to, again, have that soft answer to a Sivir that we know that Rekkles likes to default to. I wonder about the Aurelia that's still available in this game. The Shy hasn't played it at this tournament, but it does fall into his wheelhouse very effortlessly.
Alistar does a really big part in controlling the bottom lane, whether you wanted to go with the scaling marksman or if you wanted to go with an early game and try and use him offensively to set up kills. So definitely remaining versatile here, and we have the takeaway. Now we'll be Invictus Gaming piloting the Aurelia.
I always love it when one team beats another team on a pick and then drafts it against them the very next game. It's almost like a let me show you how this is supposed to be done kind of pick.
And it might even be a reverse matchup depending on if IG want to ban away something like the Lissandra. Of course, flexibility for the Aurelia to go top lane. But we see already the Lee Sin Braums, a very strong duo of picks here for Fnatic for their own playmaking. We talked about how their jungle support duo will have to emulate what IG showed in game number 1. Now you could lock Sion, and IG would also have shown both solo lanes, but I imagine they don't want to do that. This is an interesting one. We know JackeyLove plays the Lucian, but there's no saying this Lucian couldn't be going to a solo lane as well.
That is correct.
This Lucian very well could be flexed around. I like keeping that in the air. That being said, this would definitely be option number 2 for the bottom lane as far as with Alistar. Definitely a very good lane partner, and they can put a lot of pressure out.
Well, they're going to ban the Sivir away from Rekkles here yet again. They're really wanting to keep him off that champion that he does have the most plays on so far this tournament. Taliyah banned out now by Fnatic. That was one of those picks that we kind of saw Ning use to break the idea that he's a 2-trick, and he had a very good game on it, so they don't want him to reprise that here, as the Tristana will also be banned out by IG.
Taliyah, Jarvan 4, he's played, of course, Karagas earlier in the tournament. Those are the sort of picks he moves to, or a Zac, if he feels he can get away with it. Double ban towards the high tier of his champion pool, though, so jungle something in a solo lane. That's what IG is looking for. Do they go for something like the Gragas here? Do they really have the ability to do it? They're going to hover it at least.
Yeah, I think a more generalist pick here as far as the jungle goes, so you can hold on to the last second, make Fnatic show both of their solo laners, regardless of which one they're going to first, before they make the final decision.
It looks like that Gragas will be locked in there. All right, Fnatic, you've still got to pick yourself a solo lane. You've still got to pick yourself that AD carry. IG was focused on that marksman position in the second half of the ban, so let's see where it goes.
And it's tricky because you need 2 lanes that can lane against Aurelia, and you have that Lucian at the back of your mind. Rekkles going to jump on the Ezreal here. It's been one of his fallback picks. Does, of course, not get as shut down by the disarm effect that the Aurelia is able to put out. They still need to find that solo lane. The Azir popped off last time against Cloud9. Definitely a lot of NA fans who have war flashbacks about that one. He's going to bring it out in the mid lane, but what's the result going to be from IG?
Caps made expert use of Divide and Conquer there from Azir. Using his ultimate to knock back a lot of melee threats is going to be very key when you're facing something like Aurelia and possible roams from the side lanes. Here we go, though. Will be a switch up to the top lane, and we get the Shy on Aurelia versus Bwipo's Urgot.
The Shy on Aurelia, that means rookies on Syndra, and the Lucian will go bottom to Jackie Love to play against the Ezreal of Fnatic. We talked about how we wanted to see changes from Fnatic in the second game because the first game just did not work out at all for them. Are these changes the right ones?
They've definitely at least diversified the damage portfolio, not all physical damage comp here. Azir with the consistent damage alongside the Ezreal. When they played the Azir in semis, it was a much more squishy comp with an Azir to finish off. This is more of the old school. They have a pretty big front line and then Azir to do consistent damage behind it. I'm loving the rookie Syndra here though, because if he's able to force Azir back, Syndra has a great matchup into Azir. Azir's really only way to use his ultimate is to go in aggressively. And if Caps can actually pull off the duo plays with Broxah, that might be one way to subvert what is a bit of a painful early laning phase for the Azir.
Plus, because of that lane swap with Aurelia now going top, we have a very different game. These lanes are so much more volatile than the Urgot versus Sion. Aurelia definitely could depend much more on that jungle pressure, and we could see more action there.
And this is more of the champion that people think of when they're talking about, oh, I want to see the Shy pop off. When somebody pops off on Sion, they're like, man, that is a big meatball of a champion. He can't die.
Look at all that armor!
Oh my goodness, they just can't kill him no matter how many times they shoot him. But with Irelia, you've got some serious potential for mechanical outplay, and the Shy has absolutely shined on that kind of opportunity.
And if you've been waiting on the Shy Aurelia, you've been waiting all tournament. First game that he's actually going to be piloting that pick, so going to be hyped to watch. That matchup also goes the other way with Urgot just running you down from full health and shredding you, so certainly could swing a snowball match up top, and to some degree the matchup that if Azir is going to do anything, he's going to have to be aggressive as well, so let's see if the junglers can set them up.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. We're on it for the second time today as the teams will once again draw those lines of scrimmage as we saw in game number 1. Broxah again piloting that Dark Harvest Lee Sin. We're going to see how well that plays out for him here this time around up against the Gragas from Ning. See if Broxah can get his team going with some of those big signature Lee Sin plays early on.
All right, let's see if we get some vintage Invictus gaming style with 3 aggressive lanes. Go for